So I think the XDR will play a major role. And MDR, it depends on the organizations. Personally, I feel it depends on the organizations. If they don't have those kind of capabilities within them, location within themselves, then they can hire a partner who has the expertise in providing the incident supports or incident management support, forensic, and the MDR again for the managing the EDR piece. So that's what I feel.
Thanks so much, Basil. Great opening comments. We all started with the journey of an endpoint and AV and embedding IOCs to Sysmon to EDR, but that's only seeing one perspective, single pane of glass, and how do you want to have a larger picture. Thank you for that. Manjunath, your opening comments on the topic, evolving threats and how EDR, MDR, XDR play a part in it.
Hi, this is Manjunath here. I'm from TVS. I handle the IT infrastructure here. Coming to the question of the handling the endpoints now. Yes, as rightly told by Basil, we started with the endpoints and the AV part and all, and now we are slowly matured with the more sophisticated tools and equipments, applications to monitor the endpoints. But as rightly said, today's journey is so evolved, so complex that we do not know the source of threats that is coming, be it internal or from the external point. So getting in, we started with the AV, plain vanilla AV, then we moved into EDR, now into XDR, now next is the MDR. So it is a continuous evolving journey with the kind of complexities that is coming around us, and especially both on the internal world and as well as the external world. As well as it is not sufficient, now we are getting the new source of data threats also from the IoT segment. So that's another new segment that is pitching in, where it is further complicating the need of a more sophisticated solution or to have a single visibility of what's happening in the thing. So EDR and XDR is definitely evolving landscape, which will definitely go through some more fine tuning as we go through, and there'll be a lot more we can see into this.
Thank you, Manjunath. Well put. Today's journey is so evolved that's difficult to find out the source of the attacker. Complexity is high. A new angle being brought about by the IoT segment and data threats. Thank you for that, Manjunath. Let me go to Karthik. Karthik, your opening comments?
Yeah, hi everyone. See, the complete dynamics changed in last 2 to 3 years, right? Like everyone talked about the evolution from starting from an antivirus, and then it came the next generation antivirus. And then now we are talking about EDR, MDR, and XDR, right? So the biggest challenge is there are a lot of security tools, how we are going to integrate and work it on it, right? So how we will protect endpoint, network, and the complete sector portfolio. 3 important changes which I see, which changes the complete dynamics. It's very important now, writers. Now it is more of a virtual perimeter, right? This COVID changed the world. Wherever people are traveling or wherever people are carrying their laptops, it becomes a virtual perimeter, right? That's a complete change which I see. One. Second, the organization has now understood that digital transformation is the going way forward. So they are doing a lot of digital initiatives to accelerate their strategy. So I always see this as a car, like when you want to accelerate, you need a brake. That's where the cybersecurity piece comes in case of ensuring the right brake. Like if you want to go in speed, the importance is having a brake, right? If you don't have a brake, you don't have the confidence to go on speed. So you have to align your digital transformation strategy along with your cybersecurity strategy, which has to go in line with that. And third, I see very important category in case of how government is getting involved in case of the certain guidelines, right? Earlier, if there is an incident, you can get away from that, but just by solving it internally. Now, no more it going to happen yet. That is a starting phase of it. The evolution will happen. In case of that, now you have to report that incidents within 6 hours. So it's no more you are protecting your organization. Now all the listed companies or further private companies of big size need to report to the government. So I see these 3 factors in case of a business perspective changes the complete dynamics of what we are looking for in case of protection in the security, right? So that's the key, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you, Karthik. Your opening comments on virtual perimeter is ever expanding. How companies are knowing cyber with that. So, guys, we all agree that strategy is there. The threats have evolved. We have to move away from the endpoint, and one potential solution would be EDR, MDR, XDR. But Manjunath, what is the way? You have a product space, you have a solution space, you have a services space. What is your advice to CISOs on how do they go about designing a solution? How do they go about selecting a solution or a partner or vendor? What are the criteria to do this?
Well, the criteria depends from organization to organization. Now, being from the automobile sector, I can tell about the relevant experience what the journey we have followed. The being the automobile sector where we were the purely brick and mortar kind of a organization where we had everything on the ground, where we had our hands and legs on the ground. That's how we work with. In that vanilla model, we started with the plain vanilla AV, and then we slowly migrated as the IoT segment and the other external threat factors started getting complicated. Then we started moving on to the EDR and the XDR journey. So today, so it's a to answer your question, it's a slow approach, and it has to be kept up with the pace with the technology developments happening around you, with all the kind of digital activities happening in the organization. The pace has increased now, and we have evolved the journey now, and now we are in the XDR stage, and there's much more to do ahead as when more and more threats keep coming in. That's how would be relevant to us from my experience.
Thank you, Manjunath. As you said, from a brick and mortar initial vanilla to a slow approach now to a pace has increased. Karthik, you come from a similar manufacturing, not automobile, but manufacturing industry. Would you also have a slow journey, as you said, initial, and would you have a rapid pace?
See, irrespective of whether you are in which manufacturing, service industry or that, no organization wants to get attacked, right? Even though there is no silver bullet, even my expectation from the complete management is we should not get attacked. Even if it get attacked, we have to be recovered very quickly. And even if it attacked, there is no business impact into it. Yes, there are certain extent it is possible, certain extent it is not possible. But we need to have a very clear roadmap. As rightly said, we cannot take it in one go ahead with implementing straight away with an XDR, right? You have different tools in case of your security, what we are currently making, and you may not have the tools as well. So starting bare minimum, we have to start with EDR, and then we can go through the MDR, and then we have to move to the XDR. That's the strategy anyone should follow based on the maturity of it, right? Otherwise, it will be difficult for any adoption in case of the perspective. Yeah.
Thanks, Karthik. Basil, you have the advantage of being in a different industry compared to what Karthik and Manjunath mentioned, where they said step by step is okay. Your industry was much more aggressive, much more demanding, much more sort of, started this earlier. Karthik also mentioned the compliance is a big driver. Your comments on, is it the same step-by-step approach, or could you leapfrog technologies?
As I said, to be open, with consider from BFSI or the automobile or any other industries, you cannot have all the solutions at the day first. Like even if the management give me the approvals, okay, go ahead and buy the XDR or MDR services. First of all, I need to know what are the component I need to secure for by the organization. So first, until I know what are the critical resources or what are the critical component I need to protect, I will not able to take a leap in that manner. But as you rightly mentioned, being from the BFSI factor, we have to focus on each and every aspect from where we need to protect the organizations, not only from the cybersecurity threat point of view, but also from the data protections point of view as well. So depends on that, we have to have some solutions where we will be able to sync up the logs with the different kind of security solutions, where we will be able to protect the organization in a much better way.
Okay, thanks, Vasu. But let's go one step deeper. Once you are easy on the products part, but how do you ensure the people part? How do you ensure you get updated and hence select the right solution for the right industry or the right company? How do and the right teams to also run that?
Perfect. So that's the reason now we are also getting involved, because initially it used to come only at the approval phase for us as a CISO. Okay, this is the solutions what we are trying to take, or this is a product what we are trying to build. But now as we are getting more engaged with the business, so we are trying to have the security at the starting of these solutions whenever it is getting designed. So suppose if there is some solution which has been designed for the customers, so we have already the security by design concept for the Aditya Birla, where we try to onboard all the security check at the time whenever the application goes live. So that helps us to protect both the organization and the customers in a much better way. What I feel. Nice. So in terms of our policies process, we try to draft as much as detail as possible. So whenever we try to have a steps before the application is decided, okay, this is the particular product or this is a particular solutions which we like. For example, if the HR is trying to get some solutions for employees, we get into those kind of discussions. We try to understand what is the kind of data which will be going to the partners, because and what is their architecture, what if they get breached. So if we get involved in the day first, we are able to provide a better suggestions to the HR or to the business, and then that helps both organizations as well as the customers or the employee.
Sure, thanks. Manjunath, when you go about doing a product selection, what are the criteria you would use to ensure that you select the right product for your company?
Well, when coming to the product selection, I look at the three main areas. One is on the project implementation schedule and support. How do they come in? And then the cost efficiency, how it is well fitting to the budget of the organization. And three, how scalable is the organization, is the product to meet the new advanced threats that's going to come up in the future. So the how is the current product able to scale up to that new threats that is going to evolve in the future? How are they capable to handle that? So this would be one of the three. These are the three main criteria which I would look at during the product evaluation.
Thanks, Manjunath. And also have, so you got the three criteria, that's great. Some companies go for a mix and match of EDR and XDR products, and some go for the same company product. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's better to have a single product so that it's easy for the integration part. The more you have, the more different tools, the integration becomes a problem. So my view is that at least it's better to have, if not one, all size may not fit the bill. Maybe if not one, maybe two is fine. But not having too many products is also a problem because the skill set will be a challenge. The different console, different type of integrations is a challenge. So it's better to select a product, global product, which has almost all the features, if not at the most two products to be there in the table, so that it's easy to manage and maintain the show. That would be my views.
Okay, and if let's come on to Karthik, Manjunath, perspective of one product, if not one, at least two, not too many. What's your perspective? Would you want different products, difference in depth, or would you want to go for one product with ease of maintenance?
So I agree with Manjunath here. See, even Gartner's, the biggest challenge what we face is there's too many products and they're not talking to each other, right? And if you want an automated response out of this, and these OEMs also have certain challenges, right? Certain OEMs only integrate with certain products and may not with others. So when you need an automated response or anything, if you want to work it out, right? I even agree that it also varies in case of a small, medium enterprise. I even suggest to go with only one, right? In a larger enterprise, have the muscle or flexibility to have the resources, right? The biggest challenge is the people, the skill resources, right? To maintain that becomes a challenge in case of getting the resources and getting it support, right? Not even in case of you outsources to the SOC operations, maintaining two products again becomes a huge task. So even I agree with Manjunath in that perspective.
You're saying the size and the complexity of a company may decide the number of products or number of different. Basil, your perspective, you are in the business.
Personally, I would love to have a different product, but as Manjunath and Karthik mentioned, because the kind of having a multiple security solutions, the kind of integrations which we are not having now, though we are forcing all the OEMs to have those kind of open APIs so that the other security solutions can also integrate it. Because what we have seen in the markets, like if you talk about EDR partners, they will have the best inbreed of the EDR solutions, but if to talk about the network security or email security, they will not have those kind of security solution with them. So, but still, we don't have options as of now where we are able to integrate or have the open source or the hyper integrations for the XDR partners. So, but as market grow, I think there will be a lot of options available, should be available, where we will be able to integrate with a lot of different security providers in the future.
See, I will state an example here. Like, so for example, our next generation firewall is one of the top leader, right? And whatever we selected as an EDR, it is one of, even though there is no Gartner quadrant for it, but as per the markets, it's one of the leader, but it doesn't have an integration with one of the top leader in the next generation firewall. So the market has not evolved in such a way that the way what we want to explore in case of multiple products. And the evolution is very quick. In 5 years, we are talking about so many things, right? From antivirus to a next generation antivirus, EDR until XDR. So the evolution is so quick, and the innovation of integration becomes a challenge.
Sure, Karthik. And what about the integration of external threat intelligence sources to this to have an automated response? What level of automation have you reached?
Currently, we would say we have not reached, in case of the automation, what we expected to do. We don't have any kind of SIM or SOR, which is in the roadmap for us. And extending our EDR to XDR, we also have a roadmap. So I would say currently we have put the basic need for the organization in case of implementing EDR, next generation firewall on those areas.
Thank you. Manjunath, back to you. This is all in the IT space, but you know the biggest threat for you and maybe even Karthik is the OT, SCADA, PLC space. What about the MDR, XDR implementation in that space? Are we even thinking about it, or companies still struggling on the IT level?
As of now, to be frank enough, we are still at the IT level now. It's not yet rolled out to that a massive extent of the SCADAs and the OT level now. Though the conceptual thinking has started right now, but it's still it's a long way to go and actually start implementing into that. That's at least into our space what we have today.
And is the best in the world manufacturing companies also in the same stage, or have they reached an advance?
No, a few of the companies, I know a few of the manufacturing firms who have already gone ahead and they are into the next generation now and next level of implementations now. But yes, as per the industry, everything depends on the industry growth and the industry size as such. And there are different organizations are at different levels at this point of time.
And this will be in across all countries, or do you think it's more in some different parts of the world?
It's more. I'm not too sure of the more other parts of the world, but definitely in India, it's on a slow pace now. It's only now the things have started getting implemented. They're being discussed more openly, and the actions are being planned, and a few of them are in the pilot stages and all. But definitely, when compared to the outside part of the globe, I'm sure they will be ahead of us a little bit.
And what's the trigger for that? Is it now coming in because of compliance, because of the new government mandates Karthik spoke about, or is it general attacks increasing at the board level?
The basic factor is the general attacks are getting increased so immensely. The ratio of even after the COVID break, the ratio of attacks have increased drastically across all verticals, irrespective of the organization. Earlier, at least it was told that only the BFSI and the ITS would be the target, but now that's not the norm. Whoever it is or who are on the high scale rise, definitely we can expect some attacks over there. So it has become irrespective of the domains what we are into. So to answer your question slightly, the threat perception and the threat growth is the major starting point to all.
Great. So the threat perception of that, you realize that it's important. Basil, you mentioned something starting very well, that it's a healthy mix between internal insourcing of the whole response and external service partners. So what's the right mix that you think is there?
You cannot have all kind of expertise in-house, okay? Because if you, for example, if you try to have a red teamers on your payroll, it will be difficult for him to hold for a longer period of time. So I personally feel that whoever are best, so we have to outsource those kind of services rather than trying to have those kind of expertise built in, because if we try to have the expertise built in within the organization, we will be thinking in the limited space. So because these partners, for example, if you talk about your firm, they'll be interacting with a lot of different organizations. They'll be learning with accordingly. It's like they'll be interacting with Aditya Birla, they'll be interacting with ICICI Bank. So the attack lens surface will be different for each organization. So kind of expertise or the kind of opinion which we'll be getting from such partners will be different what we'll be getting from internal team. So I think it should be a mixed bag. But we need to identify and differentiate what are the things which we want to outsource. That is an important factor for me. Rather than having everything outsourced or everything on-prem, if it is divided mutually, it is better for the organizations.
Thanks, Basil. Well said. A good hybrid approach. So what would you really want to outsource and what would you want to keep with yourself? Strategy, maybe the product selection yourself, with the hands and legs, or a co-approach, or co-build it, or co-automate it?
So personally, I mean, like as part of organization's point of view, I feel the developments and all that, because the internal development team understand what is the organization's focus, what they want to achieve in the coming 5 years or 10 years. So I think the development piece or the product selections piece should be there within the organizations, but the assessment piece should be there with the third party, so they will be able to assess it in a better way and provide us the output. So because maker and checker cannot be same, what I personally feel.
So development within your company and assessment can be outsourced. Karthik, do you agree to that, or do you have a different perspective?
Then we talk about three areas, right? Normally, people, process, and technology. So it's in all these areas we need obviously the hybrid approach, and depends upon the organization what we need to take as a decision, right? So in case of people initiatives, now there are tools available in people initiatives where we have to run a simulation program, right? If we want to create an attack and make awareness to the users, and also we can understand who are the high risk users in case of this process. So there is a combination of what we need to develop for an internal team and an external team. Definitely we need hybrid approach in case of people, process, and technology in all these three areas.
Thanks. And Manjunath, when there's a good hybrid approach. When you look at service provider, Manjunath, what are 2 or 3 things you really want that provider to bring back to you besides expertise, varied? What are 2 or 3 things which you will use to select that?
The criteria that we look into it is how quickly is able to bounce back on the case of a escalation or in the case of a threat escalation that is happening. That is how quickly is able to adapt and provide as a support. That is one. The continuous monitoring, the kind of intelligence he brings in, the kind of intelligence he can bring into because there will be so much of logs coming into my basket, so that he should have that particular skill set to analyze which is the genuine threat and which is a fake alerts, and try to distinguish that and bring out the intelligence out of it. So that would be another key criteria of the particular service provider who can bring me that kind of intelligence and inputs to grow secure my organization data. So that will be another criteria which I will be looking forward in the service provider.
And the third one, Manjunath, would sector expertise also make a difference? That they have a manufacturing experience or auto experience in that sector? Would that be a plus?
Yes, that would be helpful so that I can correlate, I can do my benchmark in relating to the similar manufacturing firms. If he has that kind of exposure, that will be an added advantage. Being said that a lot of SCADA machines, all these OT machines that is coming into the picture, these are the new conceptual threats which might not be relevant to the other financial industries or the ITS industries. So it really helps if he has some manufacturing background, and so that we can correlate better and do a better modeling of the solutions.
Okay, thank you. Karthik, your perspective, as you said, the sector makes a big difference. Would you think in your sector also manufacturing cement would be a big perspective? Would it add value?
Yeah, definitely. Because if you see in recent trends, there was a huge digital transformation happening in manufacturing. Earlier, if you see in the trend, these OT systems are isolated, right? And there was not further use cases for us to connect to the network or IT. Now it is very important to connect them to the IT part of it. And we also need to move these systems, a portion of their data to cloud. So it is very important once these systems are connected to internet or connected to cloud, we need to put the right security technologies part of it. So that's the key. Yeah.
Okay, and how mature are these MDR? EDR may have evolved, but Basil, your perspective, how are they really matured on a scale of 1 to 10, or is just tip of the iceberg and just starting?
Because we keep on doing the red teaming activities with the EDR, not with the EDR which we have onboarded, but the other EDR partners as well, as just to check on the effectiveness, because these are all the cloud service and it is very easy for us to replace. But so far, what claims each EDR partners have claimed to be like they are AI ML, like they can detect the attack based on AI ML, but still we have seen that the major of the attacks which are getting blocked is based on the pattern or whatever the rules they have written on their EDR console or the EDR solutions. So I think it is getting mature day by day, but it will take some time to get into the space where it will be auto learning by themselves, and then we'll be able to detect and block the malicious actor activities on the endpoints.
Thanks. And Karthik, your perspective, how mature are these, and what would you want to sort of perspective on going forward?
See, definitely in MDR perspective, we have an advantage in case of, because it's impossible for any organization to have a 24/7 monitoring and take immediate actions. Definitely that is going to help. But it is in the starting stage of it, I would say, in case of evaluating things. As per my perspective, right, whatever we have evaluated so far, and as I already told, having two different providers, it's very difficult, and whoever has an EDR with the MDR capabilities would be the ideal thing. But it protects your endpoint, right? So when you want to have the complete protection in case of your network and other areas like cloud and everything. Still, I think that's a big challenge. Again, people are dependent on SOC operations or a managed service provider kind of an environment. Yeah.
And just to add what Karthik was also saying, like majorly when we moved out, as I was telling, we initially used to have a sysmons on the endpoint, which used to monitor complete activity, any activities which was happening on the endpoint. But post getting the EDR solutions, then we got a sysmon removed from the endpoints. Then we are totally relying on the EDR. So like if some activities or if some patterns which EDR is not able to detect, then those kind of activities will still have a gray area in terms of detection. So that's still the space which I think need to be mature by each going day.
That's a good point. So is EDR, MDR the end of all, or would you want complementing secure technologies to further augment your defense?
No. So still because there is some kind of activity, because there are some kind of solutions like if you talk about the VC devices, or if you talk about the firewall logs integrations, or if you talk about the IoT devices which are connecting to the network, those kind of security, I don't think that will be getting integrated with the MDR solutions anytime soon. So those are still, we have to leverage on the SIM solutions and have the MSSP partners onboarded with us, where they'll be able to do the monitoring of those kind of log and do the correlations based on the use cases, whatever we write. So
how do you manage your transition? How do you get transition from the conventional over to the new MDR types?
So conventional to new MDR is like for specific services, like for the EDR, we have onboarded the MDR providers, like what we will give them the particular service, how relevant we are getting the output from them. Then probably over the phases, we can onboard a few other security solutions to them.
Thanks. Manjunath, your perspective, is this EDR, MDR the end of all, or do you want complementing solutions to augment this?
For us at this point of time, since we have started from the brick and mortar part, now we are right now at this level, we are convinced with the EDR and the XDR level. So right now, maybe we'll take some time to mature over that and then look at the further integrations and the complications part. Because now since the OT part is still a conceptual part and we're still taking baby steps on that, maybe as we mature more into that particular domain, then I might be looking out for more sophisticated solution. But for now, it's the EDR and the XDR is working for us.
So, Karthik, if we had the same session with Jitendra next year, same time, same place, what would be the next version of this discussion?
See, currently, even I'm not convinced fully the MDR is going to save us, right? So that is going to take care of your endpoints, to be very put forward. Even in case of whatever you have devices, right? Like Basil said, it doesn't cover the network part of it or the VC part of it. So the combination of what they evolve in case of the XDR and a combination of MDR, whether that can replace the SOC operations, we have to wait and see. So even I am in the process of evaluating in case of what is the roadmap in case of whether I have to move to complete XDR or management of MDR, or we have to stick with the managed service provider SOC operations kind of a thing. So next year, in any of this, I would have been decided we have implemented that in 1 year's time.
Jitendra has that for next year. Basil, your perspective, next year, what would be a topic of discussion on the next level to this?
Because I think we will be already having such kind of solutions, but we need to see what is the level of maturity each organization have adopted in terms of auto remediations. Because we were talking about SOAR, we were talking about XDR, where they have the automation capability, but is organization ready to take that call of automating those kind of activities? Like as you rightly mentioned, that in case if the attack is originating on the endpoint and if it's traveling through a firewall, I am in the place where I can write off directly policies on the firewalls to block that communication at the time of it is happening. So I'm looking forward for the next, like what's the level of automation each organizations or based on the domains have achieved in terms of automations.
Manjunath, your perspective, future, same year, same place, same time?
Not only the automation, but what is the intelligence factor that will get pitched in is something I'm looking forward to. The automatic intelligence, the artificial intelligence that can study the patterns and come up with the intelligent solution and say that, hey guys, this is going to happen. Be careful, be proactive, be predictive and all. So the predictive analysis is where something I'm looking forward for the next year.
Thank you. So priority answer it is. With that, we come to a close of today's discussion. Thank you so much, Basil, for giving your comments. Thank you, Karthik. Thanks, Manjunath.
Thank you very much, panelists, for holding that very interesting and engaging discussion. Thank you so much.